Hi everyone, I'm Mallory Smyth with Walking with Purpose, and this is Truth with Handles, scripture applied to your everyday life. Today, how to spot a toxic friendship. So in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9, we see a glimpse into what God thinks about friendship. It says, "Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can get the other up." God created friendship to be a blessing to our souls. He desires that we have freedom in our friendships to be ourselves, to celebrate the other person for exactly who they were created to be, and in turn, be celebrated for who we were created to be. Now, we know how good and fun a good friendship can be, but we also know that no relationship is perfect. Right? We will have strife in our friendships. Jealousy will creep in, feelings will get hurt, trust will be broken, and fallout will happen. Now, most of the time, these cause minor to moderate problems, and they can be solved through communication and forgiveness. But sometimes these types of behaviors overtake the nature of the friendship, and they continually harm the spirit of each woman involved. And when this happens, we need to know how to recognize that the friendship has become toxic, and then what to do with it. How do we handle it? So today we're going to talk about 4 attributes of a toxic friendship. There are more than 4, but we're going to talk about 4. And then what do we do once we recognize that they're there? So the first attribute is high drama. Now, high drama results when a woman is always at odds with others. She's constantly talking about how she's been victimized by situations or by friends, and she's always stirring up dissension through gossip or just through a combative attitude. When this happens, peace leaves the relationship and chaos reigns. That's how we know the friendship has become toxic. The second attribute is codependency. Codependency occurs when one or both of the women cannot make a decision without the approval and opinion of the other woman. This results in constant, inappropriate amounts of communication and the inability of each woman or one of the women to make a move without the other. This takes away the ability of each woman to stand on her own 2 feet with the unique gifts that God has given her, chasing a unique call. Now, the third attribute is whenever one of the women in the friendship has become ultra self-focused. Now, this means that she cannot meet the needs of the other friend, that she cannot focus on what's going on in her life, but is only focused on what is going on in her own life. And in doing so, she manipulates the situation to always be about her. This removes freedom from the friendship and actually makes one of the women a constant giver and the other a constant taker. And now, the final attribute that we will talk about is whenever a friendship has become demeaning, when one of the women can no longer build the other up, but is always magnifying her flaws and her failures. When this happens, the self-worth of each woman is really diminished. They're no longer able to celebrate each other for who they were created to be. Additionally, if one of the women finds themselves always trying to hide her successes and her joys because she knows that the other woman will just make fun of her or won't be able to enter into that joy, the friendship could have become toxic. So what do we do if we recognize that one of these attributes is present in our friendship in a way that overtakes the nature of the friendship? How do we handle it? Titus chapter 3, verse 9 through 11 gives us some insight. It says, "But avoid foolish controversies and genealogies and arguments and quarrels about the law, because they are unprofitable and useless. Warn a divisive person once, and then warn them a second time. After that, have nothing to do with them." See, St. Paul is first of all telling us to avoid these arguments because they're useless. But whenever they occurred, whenever we need to talk about them, then what we need to avoid doing is talking to everyone else about them. We need to avoid going to everyone else with our problems so that we feel right or we feel justified. But instead, in maturity, we go to the person with whom we have the problem. We bring it up in love and charity in search of a resolution. We can do it once, we can do it twice. And if that isn't working, then we are called to re-examine the place that friendship has in our lives. So that could either be that the friendship needs to move from something that an intimate friendship to an acquaintance, right? To give each person room to breathe, or through prayer and good counsel, we can end the friendship altogether, again, for the sake that each woman is able to become who God created her to be, and that those toxic behaviors might be able to be eradicated from future relationships. Hebrews 10, verse 24 reminds us that we should always be considering how to stimulate one another to love and to good deeds. So as we enter into the experience of our friendships, no matter what they are, we're called to do so with the love of Christ and his maturity to show an unbelieving world what a relationship characterized with Jesus Christ looks like.